A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms taking place 80-ish years after the war between Rhaenyra and Aegon II has its two leads, which I hope so with filming starting this June. Otherwise, they'd be cutting it pretty close. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms will adapt each of George R. R. Martin's 3 novellas each season: The Hedge Knight, The Sworn Sword, and The Mystery Knight. All stories are collected in a book called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and there's also graphic novels for all of them. The official synopsis for the show is: a century before the events of Game of Thrones, 2 unlikely heroes wandered Westeros. A young, naive, but courageous knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his squire Egg. Set in an age when the Targaryen line still holds the Iron Throne, and the memory of the last dragon has not yet passed from living memory, great destinies, powerful foes, and dangerous exploits all wait these improbable and incomparable friends. So in casting, Peter Claffey will be playing the maybe Hedge Knight Sir Duncan the Tall, or Dunk, an ancestor of Brienne of Tarth, and Dexter Stoll Ansell will be playing Aegon Targaryen, or Egg. On Peter's end, he was a rugby player and started acting as a 4-year-old with quite a few TV and theater roles under his belt at this point in his life. I think look-wise, his face at least, he has the look for Dunk, attractive but not distractingly so. You get why people would gravitate towards him in the show, just like in the novellas. Also, being a rugby player, he's probably thick as a castle wall, so that's good. Now, the height and age are a bit different between the character and Peter. Dunk was just shy of 7 feet tall, and Peter is 6 feet 4.5 inches tall. I'm sure, though, to make up that difference, they can use forced perspective to make him look bigger. Also, in the main show, there were characters that were supposed to be quite a bit bigger, and they weren't. It's hard to find people that tall to match George's descriptions who actually fit the role and are good at acting. Now, I'm sure they can use forced perspective to make him look taller. They can use the techniques they use for every Tom Cruise film. I also wish they had cast someone a bit closer to Dunk's age, but again, I imagine finding the perfect person for Duncan that's also that big would be a challenge. Peter is 27 years old and Dunk was 17 in the first novella, so that's a whole decade difference. However, late 20s people playing teenagers has been a staple in entertainment for a long time, so I doubt anyone will bat an eye at this. That, or they'll just age up the character like they've done with plenty of characters in Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. The age I'm more worried about is Egg. While Dexter is the right age for Aegon, Dexter is 9 and Aegon was 9 in the first novella. By the third novella, the last Duncan Egg story George has completed so far, he's 12 years old, which may give them enough time for the actor not to age too much. Filming this June at 9, filming next year at 10, and doing the final season with him at 11 or 12 years old will avoid things like what happened with Carl in The Walking Dead. The fact that it's not going to be a billion seasons makes it less likely for it to be an issue if they keep on track with writing scripts and filming. However, if they do decide to do more of George's Duncan Egg stories, further seasons, by the time George finishes the next one, Dexter will likely be too old to play Dunk anymore, unless George does a huge time jump between the Mystery Knight and the 4th story. But age worries is always a thing when you have kids at that age, just because they grow up and they change so much from year to year. I think the kid that they cast for Egg is absolutely adorable, and I so far don't have any complaints about him. I think he'll make a great Egg. Now lastly, on the writing end, Ira Parker along with George R. R. Martin are writers, and Ryan Condal, Owen Harris, Sarah Bradshaw, and Vince Geraghtis are executive producers, which is a good group of people to be in charge of the show, especially Ryan Condal with Ira Parker writing and with George helping. Overall, I don't think bad casting. I think they will both work for their respective characters. The executives that are working on the show make it that much better. So I'm looking forward to filming leaks when they start shooting in June, and then hopefully we'll see the 6-episode season 1 in 2025.